My name is Coy Barefoot, and it is truly a privilege to welcome you to the very first graduation ceremony for the very first class of the Albemarle Leadership Academy. Class of 2012. So, very quickly, what is this? What are we doing? This is a brand new program that was brought to life thanks to some very special people with Albemarle County Schools to create a first ever program for high school students here in Central Virginia, an advanced, upper level, as far as I'm concerned, graduate, university graduate level training program and study program in leadership. So I went out to high schools in the spring and I went into classrooms and I said, hey, this is a brand new thing. This is going to be the very first year. For those of you who are interested, send me an email and I'll make sure Deepa gets in. Did you get it? It's okay. And I got a number of emails from students. Not all of them worked out because there were conflicts with, oh, we're going on vacation or I have to do this. And so it did not work out. But you know what? It worked out for 10. One of whom, Ryan Murray, couldn't be here today, and we're going to start this today, right now, by giving her a big round. The family actually left this morning for vacation, so she couldn't be here. So we had her graduation in class yesterday. And so I had 10 amazing young people get in touch with me that I have had the privilege to spend the last 2 weeks with from 9 to 2 every day, doing nothing but studying leadership. And for you older folks in the room, just wrap your mind around that for a minute. These young people volunteered to sit in a library in the middle of the summer and study leadership. Because these are not average human beings. These are very, very special people, remarkable people. And every single one of them will be a powerful and influential leader in some way. I have no doubt. So, what we're going to do today is hear from each of them. We're also going to hear from a couple of special folks who are here with us. We've got a slideshow. We're going to get diplomas. It shouldn't take too long. I want to thank you for being here. This program actually was born in a conversation that I had with Pam Moran, who is the superintendent for Albemarle County Schools. And it literally started, hey Pam, wouldn't it be cool if? And Pam loves those kind of conversations. And so we sat for 3 hours in her office, kicking around this idea, like, wow, what would it look like? How would it work? And Pam's the type of person who says, let's try it. Let's try it. Let's see what it looks like. So then she brought into discussion Assistant Superintendent Matt Haas, without whom this would not have happened. He's the guy who figured out, here's how we do it. And what you are looking at today is just the beginning of something that has incredible potential to possibly be a statewide program. But it starts here. And it starts with these people, who I have a hard time looking at right now, because I'm going to miss them. So, I want you to meet Pam Moran, the superintendent for Albemarle County Schools. We wouldn't be here without her. Thank you very, very much.
And I have to say, we wouldn't be here without these young people, because they really are the reason why we're here. When Coy first talked with me about this, one of the reasons why I immediately was drawn to this is because I knew of Coy's work at the Sorensen Institute at the University of Virginia around the concept of how do you teach a variety of people, both adults and young people, to really think of themselves as leaders and to learn the skill sets and competencies that all great leaders share. I also had read a book that Coy had written about Jeffersonian leadership that really touched me, because in the very beginning, he didn't start out with Jefferson as the writer of the Declaration of Independence, or the person who crafted the Virginia Statute for Religious Freedom, or who was the inventor in Virginia of public education that resulted in the University of Virginia, which he considered to be a great, great achievement, right on par with the Declaration and the Virginia Statute. What he started out with was Jefferson as basically a high school student who was exploring himself leadership and really building the ideas. And I remember when I came in, I said, so is this your commonplace book? And you knew what I was talking about. That Jefferson started out as a high school student who collected images and thinking of leaders. And I have to believe that his leadership, just like yours, began when he was a very young person. And so for me, the big selling point was, how is it that we provide something here in Albemarle County that is of the same quality as what students who come from all over to participate in the Sorensen Institute get at the University of Virginia in a residential setting? But most importantly, the other thing that Coy said to me that really resonated, and I shared this a little bit with David Toscano earlier, is that he wanted to look at leadership as not being limited to political leadership, but to look at leadership as something that people do in all walks of life. You have heard from people who are leaders as social activists, as entrepreneurs. I had the wonderful opportunity to hear Tim Longo, the city police chief, talk with you about what leadership means to him. I know that you have heard a strand of this in every session you've done. And that for me is one of the most important competencies and dispositions that every leader has. And that is that you understand what it means to point true north ethically in everything that you do. Now, I wanted to end my part by speaking to what I consider to be, and that has been validated by our school board and by many people in our community as the 4 core values that I try to keep in front of me. I used it yesterday with our leaders, our principals and department heads, who I've been meeting with for the past few days. And by the way, you know the things you've been reading? I've been sharing some of those with your principals and with people who run our departments, because they're really good things for people to think about as reading. Here are our 4 core values. And I think that anybody's a leader, if they can keep these in front of them, no matter what they do, whether it's you or me or Coy or Matt Haas, who's here with us, or David Toscano, or your parents, your teachers, that we will all be a better community as a result. One, that we believe in excellence. I heard Tim Longo say to you, he said, mediocrity breeds complacency, and that the bell curve, when we settle for the bell curve in our lives, for being average, that we're never going to maximize our potential to lead. So one of our core values in Albemarle is a value that we want excellence for everybody who works here. Teachers, students, superintendent, central office staff, bus drivers, whoever. Excellence is a goal for us all. It's part of who we are in terms of core value. Secondly, interestingly enough, in Albemarle we say, you are a core value, young people. And what we mean by that is that we want you to have the best we have to offer. What Coy has done with you over the past 2 weeks, and what you have learned and shared and grown in terms of your own sense of leadership, in my mind, is about giving you something that we consider the best that we have to offer. That's really important to me. Thirdly, respect. And in my mind, respect is an anchor for every interaction that we have, whether it's with parents, with each other, with teachers, with bus drivers, with the greater community, with people that don't look like us, don't think like we do, that maybe have different ideas, but that we always come to the table with a voice of respect and care for each other, even when we disagree. And that, in my mind, is one of the most important things that we can offer each other, is to really restore what Jefferson would have called a civil community. It's very important to him to have a civility in our community. And then lastly, community. Because it's when we come together, when we think together, we share together, we collaborate together, that we actually grow and develop into an even better community than we've ever been. And so I said to our principals yesterday, doesn't matter whether you're sitting down with a parent, whether you're talking in front of a group, whether you're meeting with community members, planning partnerships, whether you're in controversy or collaboration, if you always come back to those 4 values, excellence, people, respect, and community, you'll be able to find your way through to improving and making better the world that we live in through your leadership. And you know what? I can't wait to have you tell me about your ideas for how we can make our schools better and what we can do to really involve and engage you. I said to a mom over here, sometimes kids tell me about being bored in school. You guys probably could tell me about sometimes you've been bored in school. And I said, you know what's interesting to me? When I watch you at work with Coy, our middle school jazz band kids that have been over at Burley from all over the county practicing jazz all day long, our kids that have been in a young writers workshop for 14 hours a day, it doesn't matter. I see kids who are willing to work hard all day long when they're engaged and passionate about what they do. And I don't think you're ever really bored people at all. I think you're people who are very, very passionate about what you believe in and what moves you to want to be engaged. And we want more of that in our schools, not less. So I thank you for doing this summer. I thank our parents for being with us. And Coy, I especially thank you and Matt and Jim Sublet for doing the planning to take a vision, an idea, a dream, and turn it into reality. And I'm looking forward to the future of these kids and other kids that will join us. So thank you.
Delegate David Toscano will share a few words. David has been a community leader, an elected leader for more than 20 years, and is now the minority leader in the Virginia House of Delegates, and represents, of course, the city of Charlottesville and the urban ring of Albemarle County. David Toscano. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, all. You know, that's good. That's good. Good morning, engaged. You know, it's funny when I listen to Coy and Pam, you know, I thought, hey, I just should just walk out the door. I mean, there's nothing more to say. I mean, they've done such a great job with this program, and of course, Coy has been so active in the community. You all listen to the radio show all the time, right? You know, occasionally I get honored to be asked to be on. And of course, Pam, you know, for her to get up here and just kind of do this and this and this and peel off the 4 values, and you know, it's all. The class is over. I'm walking out. You know, I was trying to think back when I was your age and saying, oh my God, I would have never imagined at my age, growing up in Syracuse, New York, in a small suburb outside of Syracuse, New York, that, you know, I'd ever have been elected to the city council of the city of Charlottesville, that I'd ever be elected the mayor of the city of Charlottesville, be elected to anything. You know, that I would never imagined when I was your age, and yet that happened. I never would have imagined that I actually hold one of the seats that is the successor seat to the one that Thomas Jefferson held in the Virginia House of Delegates, the longest consecutive Democratic legislature in the Western world. It's an amazing thing to think about. And when I walk into the chambers, I don't know if any of you have been down to Richmond, you can walk into the chamber, you ought to go in there. I mean, it just sends shivers down your spine. And that I would be chosen by my peers to be the Democratic leader among the delegates in the House of Delegates, I would have never thought that. And, you know, it just gives me shivers just to think about it right now. But you go back and you say, well, how did you get to where you are now? I'm considered a political leader, but leadership isn't just about politics. You know, it's funny because when I thought about what I'd say today, I asked one of my aides to pull up some leadership quotes. I was going to give you a test about it, and I still might. But of course, it was funny because the quotes that he picked out were all political quotes. And I'm saying to myself, you know, where is Bill Gates? You know, where is Steve Jobs? Where is the Dalai Lama? Where are a number of religious leaders? You know, he just thought political. It's not just political. It's about leading in your community. It's about offering yourself to help other people. Sometimes it's very visible, sometimes it's not. But all of it's very, very important. I heard that Tim Longwood did a great job. You know, you wouldn't think of him as a political leader, but he does have such a great impact on our community. Of course, Superintendent Moran, you wouldn't think of her as a political leader. She's more political than anybody. Well, yeah, I would encourage you to keep going, because there is so much the need for leadership that's based on values. You know, a lot of people lead. One of the quotes he got out was a Hitler quote. I thought, oh my God, you know, why would we do this? A lot of people lead, but for all the wrong reasons. And then we end up with a political structure that's fractured, where people can't get anything done, that it's all about these private agendas that people are trying to play out as opposed to trying to get something done to serve the people. I mean, most of the leadership quotes you might see have to do with service, right? To really lead, you have to follow. You have to follow people you want to lead, because it's only when you follow them and only when you understand those folks that you can really move things forward. Jefferson. Whenever the people are well informed, they can be trusted with their own government. I was going to do the test and ask you if you knew if that was a Jefferson quote. Of course, Coy would have raised his hand. He said, yeah, that's one. You know, well informed, educated. You know, why did Jefferson help create the University of Virginia? That was to some extent a political act, but it was all about something else, about creating a citizenry that was educated so that they could participate in public and private life in ways that would move the country forward. So I'm not going to give you this test bank today about the leaders. Suffice it to say that it's really good and very heartening for me to see your willingness to take the ball and run with it. Because I think with you and others who are willing to take that shot, get engaged that way, it says so much about where this community is going to go, where this Commonwealth is going to go, and where this country is going to go. So stay with it. I applaud you. I applaud Coy and the others who worked to bring this forward. And you're going to now be the ambassadors of it. You're the ones that are going to take it on and get the next group in. And then 20 years down the road, you'll be able to look back and look at where this group has gone and say, yeah, you know, I was right there on the ground floor, and I helped make it happen. And look how things have changed. Congratulations to you all. Thank you for inviting me today.
That's really great. 20 years from now, these are our guest speakers. So they can come in 10 years, 5 years, yeah. So now I want you to meet them. And they gave me the list. They said, we're going in this order. So I said, okay. First up, let me see if I can, because I don't have them in any order, is Hannah. Hannah Shaps is a rising senior at Albemarle High School. And Hannah, if you want to come up here, please. Hannah Shaps. This is for you. There you go.
So I wanted to start off by saying that I definitely had some trepidation coming into this program. When Coy came into our school in June, I was like, who is this guy? What is he doing? But I want to do it. As the summer progressed, I definitely felt really nervous because I didn't know who or what to expect. But when I walked in the first room and I saw all you guys, I was super excited because you guys all share my values and leadership ideas. I was really excited for us to grow and learn together. And throughout our time here, we've had several guest speakers who really influenced me and inspired me. The first thing I learned here was the practice of modeling, which is leading by example. I think this is really important because as a leader, it's important for you to show the followers of your leadership how you should act and what the practices are and how you can inspire them by your actions. I also learned with the triathlete Rick Perot how to goal set effectively. He showed us and taught us how goal setting could really help us attain future endeavors and how we could grow as people and leaders by setting good goals. I also learned that leadership is based on service. I found this really fascinating because I had never thought of it like that before. But basically as a leader, it's your job to show others and help them become better people and accomplish a certain task. I also learned about communication and how important having an online presence is for future employers and as well as college admissions officers. And I learned I should make a LinkedIn and connect with everyone in the business world and put myself out there to be found on the internet in a positive light. And the last thing I learned was about moral dilemmas and how to solve them with our speaker yesterday, Brad Work. And that spoke to me a lot because in our schools, there's often times where we have dilemmas and we struggle with how to solve them effectively without hurting people. And it was really important for me to see the different tools we could use to solve those problems effectively and without hurting anybody. So I'm so thankful to have had this opportunity to be here and speak with you all and attend this program. And thank you to Dr. Moran and Coy for giving their time and effort to organize this program for us.
Next up is, I'm going to turn my back to you. Lauren Beachdeck is a rising senior. Big round of applause.
Hi, I'm Lauren. Okay, so I want to start off by saying that I don't get necessarily the best grades in school, and I'm not the best athlete, so kids like me are kind of shoved to the side of the school world and just deemed as average. And for me, that wasn't enough. So I wanted to take this opportunity to learn more and get out in the world. And the first thing that Coy said to us when we came in was that we're all capable of being great leaders and we're the future of America. And I was really taken aback by when he said that because no adult has really said that to me before. And I was really surprised, besides my mom, of course. She has to say that. This class really empowered me to be a great leader and met a lot of new friends. So yeah, it was really a great time.
Next up is the one, the only Kristen Ritchie, a rising junior at Western. Kristen.
Hi, I really enjoyed the Albemarle Leadership Academy. It's been a great experience to meet other leaders from this area and hear about their ideas and what they do in their school and how we can implement that into our schools to make it better and just really get to know them. We've had awesome speakers that have been really influential, and just it's great to see the leaders that are around us in the community and learn more about them. And learning from Coy's expertise has been awesome. He is so experienced and put so much on the table and taught us skills like how to public speak well and how to do a radio interview, and it's been really fascinating and things that we don't learn in school normally, so it was a good experience. One of my major takeaways from this program has been how important it is to be a servant as a leader. Jay James talked about this when he came to speak to us, and he said the leader isn't the first one through the door, it's the person who holds the door. And that for me just really epitomized what leadership is, and it made me think a lot, and going back to my house and seeing my friends and thinking like, wow, I really need to be a servant here, and that's a great way to lead. Another major takeaway that I had from Albemarle Leadership Academy was the concept of modeling and how it's one of the keys to leading and really effective to model what you want others to do around you, and how leaders can really influence people by doing that and setting the right example and showing rather than telling. This has been a great experience, and I just want to thank Coy and all of the people that made it happen, and thank you guys for being awesome classmates, and I really enjoyed getting to know you, and it was really fun and good experience. Thank you.
It's an honor to introduce Howard Home. You can come here, Howard, the one, the only. Howard's a rising junior at Western.
I'd like to start off by thanking you all today for coming here and taking time out of your days to really come here and share this experience with us. As you all know, I am Howard, and I'd like to start off by telling you It was nearing the end of my sophomore year at Western, and Coy Barefoot came into my classroom, and he told my class, you know, I have something really extraordinary to tell you guys. You guys have the chance to be a part of something really great. You get to be in the first class of the Albemarle Leadership Academy. And I thought, I'm not going to do that. It's just summer, you know? I want to go to the beach. I want to play with my friends. But then he said something that really stuck with me. He said, you know, this is going to be really great. You can brag to all the colleges about this. You can say, you're part of the first class. You're part of the Albemarle Leadership inaugural group that gets to graduate first. He says, oh, all the colleges are going to love you. They're all going to want you. I said, yeah, I like that. So I did it. I did it because of that. I did it for myself, not for others. I did it because I want to do what's best for me. And so summer started, and I actually missed the first 2 days of class. But once I got there, I was so moved by all the speakers. Just to name a few, Mary Jean, she is with us here today. She really taught me how to connect with others, and I really got a lot out of you. Thank you so much. And another speaker was John Hunter, just a normal average teacher, and he changed the world with this game. And he was so inspirational to me. And also, third one, Tim Longo. He's been mentioned already. He's pretty popular. He said something to us. He told us, what's the difference between doing things right and doing the right thing? And I really pondered that. I couldn't figure it out. You know, all of us here, we want to be leaders. We want to change the world. We want to do something. We all believe in something. And sometimes the leader's confronted with problems, and everyone looks to him or her and says, how do we do this? What should we do? And sometimes the leader doesn't know. And so from this program, I just learned so much, and I've been able to get something out of it. And now I know what to do in certain situations. I mean, sometimes I'll mess up a few times, but Coy said something. He said something called failing forward. And you know, that really struck me. How you fail, and you fail, and you fail, and then you get it right once. And that's all it takes. And this whole experience has made a huge impact on me. I met so many great new friends. I really love this experience. And I walked out of this, and now I'm not the same kid that wants to do this for myself, who wants to get to a great college and go to UVA or something. You know, I'm a kid, I want to help others now. You know, Coy has really inspired me to help others. All these speakers, they all did something like great, fantastic, extraordinary, and I want to be part of them. I want to help others. And I want to do the right thing. And I would like to thank you all for giving me your time.
And you is a rising junior at Albemarle High School. And
Hey everyone. I'd like to start off saying that when Coy emailed us about this program and he gave us like these readings about Jefferson and everything, I was like, the first thing he talked about was Jefferson was not a great public speaker. And I'd like to start off saying that I am not a great public speaker. So this is kind of a challenge for me, and I'm willing to take on that challenge because I have learned that leaders do take challenges and they get out of the comfort zone to help everyone else, to serve others. And these past 2 weeks have been the 2 weirdest weeks of my schooling career because I was able to wake up in the morning, early in the morning, to drag myself to class and actually enjoy it. It's kind of weird. And I even took notes that I'm actually going to look back on. And it was just such an inspiring experience for me. And my favorite things that happened throughout these 2 weeks was meeting new people and listening to what they have to say and not listening to myself. I was able to open my mind and put new information in and take on challenges that I would have never been able to do before. I really really enjoyed being here with you all, and my favorite part of the day was when we hid underneath the table after lunch, because we were late the day before, and Coy was, we could tell he was kind of upset because we had so much to cover that one day, like any other day, and we hid underneath the table because he was late, and so he walks in, he sighs, he's like, why aren't they in here yet? And we're all underneath the table, like giggling, and he's like, oh, you guys are underneath the table. It was a great experience to have like a bonding moment, and along with that, I learned so much, and thank you for making this happen for us, and I'm really excited to see how this grows in the future. Thank you.
All right, Ann, it's official. You are a great public speaker. Next up is Rachel. Rachel Diggs is a rising senior at Monticello. Oh, sorry. Rachel Isaacs. There you go.
Alright, hi everyone. So Coy came into our school at the end of the year, and I actually wasn't there that day, so I showed up the next day, and my teacher handed me a piece of paper, and it said Albemarle Leadership Academy on the top. And I looked at it and stuffed it in my backpack, and I was like, I'll get to that later. And sure enough, I did get to that later. A few weeks, maybe like a month into summer, I was like, maybe I should clean out my backpack. Get some things done. So I cleaned it out, and I saw a sheet of paper, and I was like, this is kind of interesting. But it's like, it's school stuff, it's summer. Don't know if I want to go that route. So then I thought about it after a while, and I was like, well, I'm home, not doing anything. I guess I'll go. So I showed up the first day, and I was late, I was nervous, and I was like, oh my gosh, these people are going to be so like uptight, and like get work done, let's go, go, go. And I walk in, and the first thing we did was play with Legos. And I was like, okay, I can tell this is going to be a good thing. And so throughout these past 2 weeks, I think one of the greatest things that I've taken away is that we become a team and a family. And I think I've met a lot of really great people through this experience. And I have learned how to be a better leader and how to do the right thing, how to overcome adversity. And we've learned so many skills that are so practical. Like I know how to go out on the street and make somebody's day. And I think that means a lot. So something tiny that I can do for me means the world to somebody else. That's pretty special. And not only that, but I learned how to run a corporate business. So I think that's pretty amazing as well. So I think the amount of skills and values that we learned in these 2 weeks is just amazing. And I've been going to school, 12 years since kindergarten. And we sit there every day and we just like glaze over and learn just like information is just stuffed at us. And you like learn here and there, but it kind of goes in one ear and out the other. And I think here, because we're also passionate about this and because it's also practical, that we were able to take a lot from it, and it's really been amazing. So, thank you, Coy.
Elaine Diggs is a rising senior. Did I get that right? At Monticello, our one Monticello student.
Hello everyone, and thank you for coming because this has been a really opportune moment that you would think, okay, it's a summer class, obviously everyone stated that, okay, it's got to be something special for me to go there. And it's not just a summer class, it's something beyond a class, because a class, to me, and again through our 12 years of learning, we learned that a class is nothing but something you learn, and to be honest, for the SOLs. Yes, you have to know how to write for jobs, yeah, you have to know all this other stuff, again, just mainly for testing. And how do I apply this stuff for life? Do I really need to tell someone that the Declaration of Independence and all of this happened in the 17th, 18th century, or however? Do I really need to know that if I want to become an accountant or something? Because that's what I want to do. But something like leadership, at first I thought, okay, everyone needs to be a good leader, even if they're leading themselves. That's something we learn. And then I learned, wow, leadership is not just learning something so that you can be as a better person, but to influence others. And the key word here is influence. And I hope that when I come back to my school that I can also help them and engage them. Because again, schools, 3 main points are just that We learn things for testing, we do things because we're told so, and we can't really apply anything to life, except our SOL scores getting into college. And so, again, I really feel that this leadership class has taken the next step, showing that classes can mean something in your life, and that leading yourself and teaching others and influencing others to be better, it's just something that you don't get every day. And for only a 2-week period, I've learned so much, and it was one of the best experiences. Again, thank you, Coy. Thank you for everyone who helped. And I believe my biggest thing that I would love to say again to you guys is that I didn't think that our schools were any different. Like, schools are schools, rules are rules, there are SOLs, etc. But the big thing was like all the differences between our schools and being able to incorporate everything from schools to rules to learning to leadership, incorporating that not only into what we do every day, but just like how we carry ourselves and everything. It was just very powerful and it was overwhelming, to be honest, but just something we all really needed. And I feel like this program should continue, and I hope it does. So, thank you.
All right, Eva. Eva Chevron is a rising senior at Western. So, official class photographer.
Well, hello. Thank you guys for being here. I'm going to start out like Anne. I am not a very good public speaker, so you will hear a lot of ums and so's and buts and you knows, but I apologize in advance for that. I'm working on it. I'll get there. But the first thing that I do really want to say is that all these people sitting here, I hope you guys know this, but if you don't, I just want to say we are so overwhelmed and so just involved in every possible and conceivable way in our schools. We're in student government, we're in leadership classes, we play sports, we do music, we're volunteering our time, we have part-time jobs, we have family, we have friends, and on top of all of that, we are seen as leaders in our schools. And I had no idea what that meant. I have been living and breathing leadership since freshman year of high school. I'm involved in student government and all that stuff, but what the heck did that mean? I really had no clue. And so I walked in this class 2 weeks ago and I learned what it meant, that I'm a leader, but I'm doing it for other people, that I'm serving other people, that this isn't always about me, that it's not just a label you can stick on somebody. You have to earn leadership. You can't just walk up and say, I'm a leader, and just stick a label on yourself. It doesn't work that way. So that was the first thing that I learned, and that there's so many different kinds of leaders, that you don't have to be in student government to say that you're a leader. You can lead in so many different ways. The second thing I learned was that you don't have to speak all the time. You can be a quiet leader. You can be in the back of the class and not say a word the whole year, but still be a leader. And that was really that changed me, because I'm the one who just raise my hand all the time, like blah, 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 blah. I talk a lot. But the fact that I learned this from during when Susie McCarthy came, and she talked about creating a Facebook page to campaign and bring President Sullivan back to UVA, and she didn't have to say a word. She was working through Facebook, through social media, and that Sullivan, she didn't say a word during the whole process, but it just changed the whole course of UVA, that sometimes not saying anything is the best way to make a difference. The third thing I learned was that the best leaders are not always the ones in front. They're the ones that hold the door open, and sometimes they're the best followers, that you have to be able to say, I don't know what's going on, but I want to be involved. I want to do this. And when you do that, other people follow you. That you have to model. You have to be the example and inspire others and be the influence. So the other thing that I think is the most important was that Coy really taught us that you have to listen, that you have to care about other people. And when you're listening, it's not like you're texting, you're listening, not talking on your phone and listening. It's like being there for somebody else and looking them in the eye and say, hey, I know where you've been and I'm here for you. That just totally blew me away. And the best thing that Coy did the whole 2 weeks was that he sat down and we all had to talk about something that we wanted to change in our communities. And we went on for, I'm pretty sure it was like an hour, at least an hour. We were ranting about everything that just made us so angry. And he didn't interrupt us once. And we were all like, oh, sorry, should we stop? We have so many things to talk about. And he said, no, just keep talking, keep talking. This is good. And for all of us who are doing so many things in our schools, to have someone who said, hey, I want to listen to what you're going through, that was huge. There's not very many adults in the world who will listen to 10 teenagers blab about all their problems. So thank you so much for that. And other things about Coy, he's just phenomenal. I mean, really one of the most incredible people you can meet. He wears funky colored socks And his favorite word is takeaway. We may or may not have been counting, but you said it 61 times. That is his favorite word. And just coming out of this program, I'm so inspired to go back to Western and really know what it means to be a leader and not just have that label, but to know that I can really make a difference in my school. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
All right. Tim Dodson, this is yours. Congratulations. Tim was the one student who raised his hand at one point during the program and started referencing legislation that was currently in Richmond or Washington. And I was like, there's a fellow political geek. Tim Dodson.
I'm just going to jump right in and say this has been an astounding, awe-inspiring experience. Like, I feel like now I know the philosophies and the thinking behind really good leadership. And I know last year, like in our leadership classes at Western, we're taught leadership, but we're not really taught leadership. Like, we're told, oh, go work on a project, but then we do the project, we don't really discuss the thinking behind it, and it's kind of left up to us. And I think being able to have those group discussions has been really powerful, and it's influenced me. I know it's influenced Deepa as we'll go to student government meetings, we're like, we have all these ideas, we need to get them done. So it's great. Another thing, I think a lot of the speakers that Coy brought in to talk to us has been pretty powerful. A lot of these people we talk about, they're just regular community members, but then they do so much more than just what we think of them. It's awesome. Like Mary Jean, like I saw her on the news the other night, I'm like, oh my gosh, I know her. So one thing I'd say is that I feel a lot more confident going into leadership this year, and I have a lot of ideas that I gathered from this. I think all of us from Western are definitely going to collaborate and get some things done for school, which I think is awesome. But I think all around the world today, we have leaders that consistently let us down. And I think one thing that we have is that there's a trust deficit between people, our constituents, and their leaders. And we need to restore that, or else we're just going to keep going down, and things have been going down for a really long time. We need to change that. And so I think what we're doing right here in our community is a really powerful thing for that. I think being able to address that trust deficit and train a new generation of leaders, it's so awesome. And it's not just happening in our community, this could eventually maybe happen for even our state with this program. So being able to tackle this problem of lack of leadership is really important. I think we're starting it right here. Then when I look at the students I attended this class with, I know that each and every one of us will go on to be a leader in our own schools and community at large, and maybe somewhere else, we don't know. But the possibilities truly are limitless when it comes to our potential. And this relates to one major thing that I've taken away from this class, which is change leadership. And the most memorable quote I read with change leadership, changing from one thing to another, came from Harvard business professor, one of the readings that we did. And he said, his name is John Cotter, he said, change leadership is going to be the big challenge in the future. And the fact that almost nobody's very good at it is obviously a big deal. Change can either be positive or negative, or what was that? But change can either be positive or negative. And if we understand the relationship with our followers, the history of a given situation, and if we know how to articulate a vision and to drive that into the minds of the people who are following us, then that's what's really powerful, and that's how we create the change that we want to see in the world. And whether the issue is, for our students, whether the issue is student stress, bullying, drugs, alcohol, SOLs, fund allocation, we can work together. So now we have the tools coming out of this class to start changing that, not just our schools, but our community, and that's really awesome. And another big thing that I found in this program is that attitude should reflect leadership. We have a lot of leaders in our school, and they call themselves leaders, but we really need people who understand leadership and understand the people who follow them. And so the job of leaders, I've probably heard this 2 or 3 times already, they're supposed to hold the door open for everyone else. And they're supposed to empower each individual to achieve what they can. And that's really what I've taken away is probably the biggest thing from this class. And at the end of the day, it's not about the leader, it's about the people and the followers. And leaders find strength in their convictions, and they live in the realms of perception and possibility and probability. And I can go on about what I learned, but those were the 2 takeaways. So change leadership and taking away what we learned about learning what it's like to be a leader and the attitude that we should reflect. But before I close, let me thank Coy Barefoot for all that he's done for us. It's been phenomenal. I think each of us has taken something personal away from you, not just from the class, but from you. And so, thank you for all the time you spent teaching us and getting those awesome speakers to come in. You probably spent forever trying to get everyone to come in to us. And and organizing the readings. I mean, you probably spent forever trying to scan it. It was literally you scanned everything individually, so it probably took some time. So I can speak for myself, but I think I speak for everyone when I say I deeply appreciate all that you've done. So I think, I just want to help us change our schools, but you're going to help change Albemarle County by what you've done. Maybe even the state one day. So who knows? So we do have something we like to present. Oh, gosh.
And the ribbon says possible.
Well, can we get pictures at the end?
Yes.
Because we have one more thing we're going to do first. You nailed it. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. You made this possible. Each one of you. You did this. I told you yesterday. If you were here, I'd just be sitting in a room by myself at a table. You created this. And you're going to build this. And this will touch thousands of lives. And it starts right here. Thank you. That concludes our ceremony. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, guys.